Live Dogs MMA here. We got another fight night. We got UFC Las Vegas 99. Michelle Pereira versus Fluffy Hernandez. Low key, I do think there's some good spots and some really good fights on this card. I'm excited, probably because if you didn't know, we hit both of our parlays the last card. We hit the lock, we hit the underdog, we hit a couple of the props, Pat Sabatini, and we got the submission prop. We got it all, baby. So we are so back. You know what I mean? We had a slump. The last two cards, weren't very good to us, but now we're back. We're going to keep the train rolling. I got a couple good spots for you. So without further ado, let's bust it wide open. The first fight is going to be Robelis Despaigne versus Austin Lane. I am going to take Robelis Despaigne here. I think he's still a good, he's a big guy. He's going to be even bigger than Lane. Long guy. We know the reach. We know the guy's story. Austin Lane has been improving in the wrestling, but I don't think he's going to go out there with the wrestling dominance and be able to hold this guy down the whole fight. If he exchanges with this guy for more than 20, 30, 40 seconds, he's going to get KO'd. So am I going to bet Despaigne? No. But am I going to pick him? Yes, I am. By the way, I don't think this guy is ever going to improve the wrestling. So remember that, y'all, when you bet him in the future. He's older. He's already 36 or something. He's not just going to become a great wrestler. I doubt he's going to. I don't have high hopes for him. I faded him in his last fight because of that, and it paid off. And I will continue to fade him again, but it will not be this time. So just keep that in mind. Alice Ardeline versus Melissa Martinez. First off, who cares? Wouldn't bet this fight. Probably wouldn't watch it. Alice Ardeline, she's better than y'all think, but I'm going to go with Melissa Martinez. She comes from a fighting family. She seems like, her heart's more in it. And so she just seems like a safer pick for me. Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. Jessica Penne is past it. She was never that great to begin with. Can she pull off the upset sub on Elise Reed? Yeah, that's probably why you don't want to bet this one either. But I'm going to pick Reed. I think Reed still wants to be a fighter, and she's not 41 years old. So it's women's MMA. Who knows? But Reed's the pick, okay? Another female fight. We got Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamirez Vidal. Vidal, sloppy, likes to throw heavy shots, plods forward, not the greatest gas tank. There's like 5 girls like her in the UFC. One of them is pretty good. You know who I'm talking about. The rest of them, it's the same thing with them. Jocelyn Edwards isn't great, but she's got a good base for fighting, and she's improving. I know she hasn't looked great lately. I feel like she wins this fight. I'm pretty high confidence in that. Brad Katona, Jean Matsumoto. Matsumoto, he's the hotness right now. Great striker, good submissions. Not the best defensive wrestler. Brad Katona could totally exploit that. I did put a little bit of money on Brad Katona as an underdog. I'm partial to Brad. But I like his game. If you look at his losses, man, he's so much better than he gets credit for. If he comes out and wants to be a pure wrestler in this match, I think he can win it. But I'm not going to take him as a pick, and I probably would not parlay him, but I did sprinkle a little bit on him as a dog. I do like Brad Katona as a dog here, but I'm going to go with Jean Matsumoto because I think he can do what people who beat Brad do. Take the fight to him. If you give Brad Katona space and let him take the fight to you and let him control the pace, he will win. He will beat you. As long as you don't do that, though, you can turn his game on him and you can beat him. And I think Matsumoto might be able to hurt him and might be able to get the W here. So it's close, like I said, but I'm going to go as a pick, Jean Matsumoto. Then we got Mateus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. This one's closer than it looks. People are counting out Nicolau because he's been chinny lately. But he's still a good fighter, still got good hands, and he can crack Asu. Asu likes to leave himself open when he strikes, and he rushes in positions. If you rush in positions, that gives the guy you're grappling with the opportunity to get back up. So there's going to be a lot of cases here where Nicolau can land more damage and steal these rounds. Or catch him with something crazy. So I think Nicolau is also a good dog here. I'm not going to bet him, and I'm not going to pick him, but I'm not mad at you if you do. But for me, I think Asu, this is a guy that they have high hopes in. I think he's kind of mid in the long run. I think we'll see that. But I like him. and this is probably a fight he can win. And if he wins this, then maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, Asu Almabayev, or Almabayev. There we go. Got it. And yeah, so let's go with him. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. This one is really tough, man. They're both scrappy. They're both savvy vets. It's all about who's going to have more heart and who is more durable right now at this stage in the game. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And that tells me to go with the dog, because I think it's a 50-50 fight. And I believe that Darren Elkins will fight for your money. Daniel Pineda does have a couple submissions on his record. Darren Elkins has got more than a couple, which tells me that Daniel Pineda might not be afraid to grapple with Darren Elkins. And that might not be good for him, because Darren Elkins is a pretty solid grappler. I mean, for, you know, what he is. So either Darren Elkins is going to get knocked out by the end of the second, or he's going to work his game, put his pace on Pineda, tire him out, and get a late sub. We'll see. But for the plus money, close fight, I'm going to go with Elkins. Next up, Brady Hiestand, Jake Hadley. Not counting out Jake Hadley entirely. He's got better striking than Brady Hiestand. But Brady Hiestand, he kind of fell off. He kind of lost me a bit. He's got a new camp now. I liked what I saw from him in the last fight. I mean, for what it is. And I think he's going to be bigger out there as well. He seems like he's a lot more, his head is a lot more in the game than Jake Hadley's. Jake Hadley's just inconsistent and outsized, and I believe Brady Hiestand will win. Then we got Sumadurgi versus Charles Johnson. Sumadurgi, he was beating up Matt Schnell, but Matt Schnell is not the greatest boxer. One of my favorite fighters, by the way, Louisiana guy, so, you know, shout out to him, but, you know, he's not a world beater, and he lost to him. He got submitted. Charles Johnson's been working on his ground game. I know that personally, and he's improving there. But Sumadurgi's going to want to strike. And I think the length and the range and the craftiness, the trickiness of Johnson's going to give him trouble. I think Johnson's a solid pick here, so we're going to go with Charles Johnson. Then we got Rob Font, Kyler Phillips. Very tough fight for me. Not for most people, because most people are probably taking Kyler Phillips, and I get that. One thing about Kyler Phillips and Rob Font is Kyler Phillips throws kicks. Kyler Phillips throws a more diversity of strikes. But is he at that place in his career where he's beating a guy like Rob Font? I don't think so, unless Rob Font is washed. And unfortunately, we've seen some signs of that. But who are you to tell me that if Rob Font can beat Adrian Yanez the way that he did, he can't beat Kyler Phillips? For a plus 300 underdog on Rob Font, I feel like it's worth the bet. He's not my live dog of the card. It's not my most confident pick. I've only taken one dog so far. I feel like I should take another one because you know some of them are going to cash. And but all that aside, I just feel like Rob Font is a tough guy to beat when you're just striking. And Kyler Phillips, he does mix it up and wrestle, but is he that great at it? I don't know, man. Like, don't tell me on this pick, but I think I'm going to go with Rob Font. And I've already sprinkled a little bit on him, so yeah. This might end up like last week, the one I get wrong, but I'm gonna go with Font. I just think he's got more ups. He's got more finishing ability. And if they're just boxing, he's better. Kyler Phillips also, I don't think he has the best fight IQ, and he doesn't have the best cardio either. So we'll see, man. 50-50. I'm going Font. Next up, my live dog, easy money, guys. We got Michel Pereira. He's an underdog right now. That's gonna flip very soon. I think you put your money on him. Hernandez, I see his body open a lot, and a guy like Michel Pereira is going to hit him to that body and most likely get a club and sub or hurt him and get a second round TKO, third round TKO. So Michel Pereira seems like a sure thing here. So he will be my underdog, and he will be my most confident bet on the card. And then there's the jiu-jitsu game, but Pereira is great at jiu-jitsu too, so I just don't see where Hernandez wins this unless he out-hearts him and somehow gets a late finish. So for me, that's going to be the pick, Pereira. Anyways, y'all, I'll get my bets out tomorrow. Appreciate the love, appreciate the hate, appreciate the discourse.